now? Well, earlier today they were playing their last home fixture of the season against Aberdeen, and if you cast your minds back to earlier in the season, I think you would agree that one of the most significant games was when Aberdeen were last here. Not just because they beat Rangers by 1-0-0, but also because Terry Butcher broke his leg. I think that was extremely significant, especially for Rangers in the championship race, because quite frankly, I don't think they ever recovered from that very accidental collision with Alec McLeish. So I think by Rangers' standards and by their expectations of the supporters and their ambitions, it has been a disappointing season. They won the Skull Cup, certainly, but I think they were after the treble. So you would have thought that the game was of mere academic interest. Well, not to the very loyal and vast support, because 36,000 turned up here this afternoon. I mean, a massive turnout for the second last game of the season, and certainly a game that might just be considered purely academic. And that shows you the great grip they have on that very loyal support behind them. Well, there we are. That was Rangers facing up to Aberdeen, hoping, of course, that they would get revenge. Did they? Well, let's look firstly at the full Rangers side.
And there's the Rangers side, exactly the same as played at Love Street last week. They're obviously not risking Ian Ferguson, who, if he got another caution, would miss 5 games at the start of next season. But you cannot dampen down conjecture. There's still a rumour about this man here, Ali McCoy, about whether he'll stay at Ibrox or move south. One thing Ali can do is turn to his goal-scoring record and say he's really made his impact at Ibrox. Aberdeen are much changed this afternoon as a result of suspension and injury, and I'm told that fullback Brian Irvin is a suspect as well. He might be substituted during the game. And talking about conjecture, it centres very largely in the Aberdeen squad around Jim Leighton. There he is. Will he stay at Aberdeen or will he go south? It may well be that we're seeing him playing for the last time at Ibrox. The referee is Douglas Hope. Well, Aberdeen start the game on a very dry, windy day, and the pitch is slightly bumpy. I think control is going to be at a premium, and there is the first free kick of the game with Jimmy Nicholl at full-back. Leaving it there to Goff. Well taken down by McCoist. I wouldn't say that this game is simply of academic interest. I think there's a lot at stake in terms of pride. Rangers playing the last game of the season and obviously wishing to end on a high note. Wilkins. Very deliberate build-up by Rangers again. Walters. Wilkins to Walters. There's a shot, and he took it well. Just a little bit too much locked on it. But you've got to admire the challenge that he accepted there. You know, he realized he was going to be closed down, and he really went for it. Beautifully killed by McCoist. Now Walters laid it off beautifully to McCoist. A little bit too much, yes. You get the opening and you change your mind almost inevitably. Either McLeish or Miller will fasten onto you. A beautiful ball by Wilkins. A lot of good football by Rangers. Almost got away with it. Rangers big man in there. There's Goff. Ferguson. Well, I think the Spaniards discovered the quality of this man, not that man, the goalkeeper, on Wednesday night. Right behind the line of the shot. Good shot by Ferguson. A lot of bodies in the way, so into the rifle it rather straight. Plucked cleanly there. Plucked away by Goff. Hewitt. John Hewitt. Trying to use that pace of his, and that's a useful ball. And Cooper. Very surprising to find him in that area. Here's Walters. Brown, no free kick, Brown on his own. Here's Brown, had to lay it off, didn't have much support. Scored another good goal for Rangers on Saturday. Here's McCoist, oh, it's the post, almost took the post away. Walters again. I think a corner's been given. If anything, I thought it was a goal kick. Loud roars for penalty. Just watch this amazing shot coming up. McCoy beautifully down, and whoop, even a fine goalkeeper like Leighton couldn't see it. There's Goff! And Rangers really exerting the screw now, playing some delightful football. Straight to Miller. Trying to get behind the Rangers defence, and Faulkner almost did. Hewitt does. Ooh, that was inches away. Good counter-attack there by Aberdeen. I think he's claiming there might have been a deflection as well, but it's not given. Very good run by Hewitt. This is what he's very good at. Sneaking in at the back. And that's all he could do. He didn't have anybody up with him for the final touch. Good, I think, is throw to Aberdeen. Taken there by Irvin. Nicholas. Nice little back healer. And Woods, whoop, really caught out by that. Ball swirling viciously in the wind. And that really was an opportunity for Aberdeen, coming from this back healer here. Just, you know, the kind of eyes at the back of the head touch Nicholas is very good at. And that sent Chris Wood scrambling. Again, there's a lot of curl. John Brown trying to get missed by McCoist. And there, I think there might have been a touch by Faulkner and Goff together. We'll see where the touch eventually comes from. Out by Brown, missed by McCoist. William Miller up as usual. And then here is a final touch, I think probably from Goff. Better plays. Nicol picks that up. Here's Ferguson. McCoist. Ferguson up on that, but the 1-2 played far too deep. Picked out there by Wilkins. Monroe. Cooper did that very well. That's not a bad ball. And really, McCoist ought to have done better than that. Now watch this, beautifully set up by David Cooper. The header, and I'm not quite sure what happened there, but seemed to take his eye off the ball and get too much on top of it. And there we go. That's the whistle to bring play to a halt for the first half. And the difference between Rangers in the first 15 minutes and Rangers for the rest of the game is the difference between night and day. They played superbly well. They really ought to have gone in front. That marvellous shot by McCoist was the nearest to it, almost took the wood away or splintered it. But then, of course, we had that very good run-in shot at the other end by John Hewitt in the 27th minute. Might have put Aberdeen in the lead after so much Rangers dominance. And I'm sure this very large crowd wants something a bit more from their side in the second half. The News Grandstand in Glasgow, a handsome symbol of the Garden Festival, the huge tower that dominates Govan District and gets a view, an angular view of the start of the second half at Ibrox Park. And I think the punters who've come in here will be wanting a lot more action than the last 20 minutes of the first half. Goff gets away there. Free kick. He pulls that through to McCoist. Gives it away to the man who does better perhaps in that tight situation, Davy Cooper. Cooper fouled that time at the third effort. Free kick.